Hey guys, long time no see, Carlos here with another top 5 Gen 1 type Pokemon. This video is going to be all about the Psychic types and why they're pretty much awesome and which ones are my favorites. So yeah, if you haven't checked out any of my other videos, go ahead and check them out after the video. They'll be in the description and the little thing, whatever, they'll be there. You can check them out whenever you'd like. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. It would be really cool. It helps my channel grow a lot. And if you want to talk about Pokemon and stuff, just, write them down in the comments. Let me know. I check these things all the time, so whenever you want, just go ahead and chat. And with that, let's begin. Alright, so coming in at number 5 is going to be Starmie. Starmie is a really cool looking Pokemon. To me, it's a simple design. It's basically a starfish and whatnot, but to me it looks really cool. It's like a double starfish, like a starfish behind a starfish with a jewel in the middle. I don't know. To me it looks pretty cool. Awesomely, it's it's the third fastest psychic type in the original games, right behind Alakazam and Mewtwo, which is not that bad. It has a great design, like I just mentioned. It's really creative in a sense because it looks almost like royalty to me, which is. It kind of makes sense because it is a jewel Pokemon. It has great special stats, not so much as a heavy hitter like some of the other psychic types that we'll get into, but it still has a lot of good bulk and a lot of good special attack behind it, which is always good. It has a great move pool that can use attacks such as Ice Beam, Thunderbolt, Psychic, Swift, Recover, etc. It's a pretty good, well-rounded Pokemon, I feel like, and you can't really go wrong with something like that, So with that in mind, that's why Starmie is going to be at our number 5. Alright, and coming up at number 4 is going to be Mewtwo. I know, Mewtwo, number 4 on the Psychic list. I feel like it's kind of way too obvious in a sense because Mewtwo is way OP in the original games. If you were like me back then, and as soon as you beat the Elite Four and you knew you were gonna go after Mewtwo, he was gonna be your number 1 Pokemon afterwards. Like maybe it might be tied with your starter, but Mewtwo was way too OP, guys. Like, honestly, to me, even though Mewtwo is a really badass Pokemon, because of course he is the fastest psychic type in the game, as well as the strongest, you have a Pokemon that's so overpowered that can probably knock out Pokemon in a single hit before they can even set up. It's ridiculously crazy to even think how OP Mewtwo was back then, and with that, it kind of loses its luster because of that. I mean, you of course you want to win a Pokemon match and battle and everything, but you don't want to do it so easily and without any sort of like strategy. You can beat down first and whatnot, but it's not as fun once you do it like a billionth time. It is pretty cool though, with its backstory being a clone, a successful clone of Mew, the 151th Pokemon, but it's also very tragic. And of course, if you grew up watching the films and everything, you feel for him, man. Like it's really sad, and he teaches you a lot of life lessons. It was really cool, but Mewtwo, you can't be number 1, bro, because you're way too overpowered. You have a cool backstory and everything, but it's a little Dos Ex for me, However, he is able to learn pretty much all the TM moves in the game, like a characteristic of Mew itself, that it can learn every Pokemon ability. Mewtwo follows that same suit, which is pretty cool though. So you still get a list, you still get a spot on this list, just not number 1, buddy. Sorry. Alright guys, and coming in at number 3 is going to be Executor. Executor is such a cool dude, bro. Like, I feel like you can just completely lay down under Executor and like just chill for the entire day, He's really cool. He is a grass psychic type, which is kind of cool too. He's the 3rd strongest special attacker in Gen 1, which is pretty awesome considering I think it's behind Mewtwo and Alakazam. So there you go, again, another strong attacker. He has plenty of bulk to back that up too. He may not hit the strongest out of those two, and he doesn't have great speed, but he can take the hits and then return them. He has a decent move pool with interesting strats that you can probably mix up. Of course, being a grass type, it can learn the moves such as like Sleep Powder, Poison Powder, and so on, which could set up a pretty good defense in some cases, maybe stall and whatnot, but he's still pretty cool, to be honest. And of course, in future generations, he gets in the Lola form, which is also really cool. And somehow he becomes a dragon, but we're not going to talk about that right now because that is way too far ahead. Executor is a pretty awesome Pokemon. It's a lot better than his little poor innocent Execute form, which is a little bit sad considering that maybe one of its little brothers is like dead, you know, because of its little cracked face. Who knows? Executor, you're the better version, and I appreciate you very much, and that's why you're number 3. Bam! Alright, so coming in at number 2 is going to be Slowbro. Slowbro, my man, if there was any sort of stereotype for being high or kind of dumb, maybe, it would probably be you. There's a whole bunch of memes centered around Slowpoke, but we're, you know, poor guy, dude. Anyways, though, I feel like Slowbro is kind of like a hidden savant in a way, because it is a psychic type. Psychics are supposed to inertly be incredibly intelligent, even if it's dormant in some way, as you can probably see from like Psyduck or something else. Slowpoke, Slowking, Slowbro. It's deceivingly awesome, I would say. He has a fun design, you know. I shouldn't feel like a lot of other designs would be as fun as Slowbro, because you basically what happens is a Shelder bites onto the tail of a Slowpoke and bam, there you go, evolution. Don't know how that really forms, but symbiosis in some cases, I don't know. It works out for the guy though, because now he can stand upright, which is really nice. Good posture, you know. Slowbro does have pretty good defenses for being a little bit slow, so it's a little bit more tankier. It looks kind of derpy, which I really enjoy because to me it gives it more personality and it makes it a little bit more lovable, you know. He's kind of derpy, just like me. A Slowbro also does have a pretty good move pool, which it builds up a little bit its defenses, maybe buffs him up a little bit, just a little bit to make it usable in some cases, but it's definitely not going to be your frontliner. He's not going to be your offensive thing. If anything, it's going to try to set up just to make it into a stall game, which is kind of nice because sometimes you don't need to beat someone down to beat them. You just have to make them beat themselves down. And with that, pretty much kind of sums up Slowbro. Like I said earlier, he is a pretty cool Pokemon. He seems very chill, and I appreciate that very much in the Psychic type, especially because all the other Psychic types are like very mean and aggressive. They're like, I'm gonna beat you to death with my mind. And Slowbro is just like chill, you know. And with that, Slowbro, you're number 2 on my list, buddy. Alright guys, and coming in at number 1, I might have cheated a little bit, but coming in at number 1 is Alakazam, and kind of basically its previous forms as well. Now I know what you're thinking, why is Alakazam your number 1 when Mewtwo isn't? I'm kind of just gonna be straight up with you guys. Like, unlike Mewtwo, where you can easily catch him with a Master Ball if you wanted to, or if not, if you're crazy, or want to extend the game for or battle or whatever. Once you catch Mewtwo, it's a done deal. Like, you already have the strongest Pokemon now. You're pretty much set. Alakazam, to me, is a little bit different though. Sure, Alakazam is basically the second fastest, second strongest, right behind Mewtwo. But the thing that makes Alakazam so much better, in my opinion, is everything that you put into it. Now, the thing about Alakazam that makes it so special to me is that you first have to catch an Abra. And if you didn't go to Cerulean Cave and try to catch a Kadabra or something, you have to catch an Abra. Or if it's not available in your game, then you buy him from the Celadon store. Not the store, but like the little gambling place. And that's kind of weird in the weird sense because it's like a trap Pokemon with Team Rocket stolen and everything. Different subject. Either way, you have to start with an Abra. And if you try to catch one in the wild, then you remember how hard it was at first, because it was either you catch it on the first try or you don't. And that's what made it really difficult. As soon as you see the Abra, you have your mindset like, oh my gosh, am I going to capture it? I'm going to throw this Pokeball. If I have a Great Ball or an Ultra Ball, we're going to try to capture it right now. And if you don't, you have to look for it all over again. And the thing about it though is that it had such a small encounter rate that it would take almost like hours just to be able to finally catch one if you're really set on it. But it's an investment Pokemon that you have to get from an Abra, lowly Abra that doesn't know any moves besides Teleport. So it's one of those Pokemon that you learn how to put in first, switch out of it later with a stronger Pokemon, and slowly just level it up until it finally evolves into a Kadabra. And even then, you still have to train Kadabra and make it powerful enough to fight other people. And luckily, it still has pretty good speed and also a pretty good special attack, so it can do a lot of damage. The only thing though is that it has very low defenses and it can be knocked out if you're not careful. But then taking it a step further, because this is one of the things that makes Pokemon so interesting and was so awesome to have back then, because you had to have friends. You couldn't get an Alakazam anywhere unless you somehow glitched the game or something. You had to have friends. You had to find someone who has Pokemon. Doesn't even have to be the opposite version or anything. They just had to have Pokemon and be willing to trade you some random Pokemon that maybe they wanted to evolve or not, or just convince them to please take your Kadabra so that he can evolve, and then please trade him back to me so I can have him. You know, it's one of those things, because I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I had a lot of jerks back then who took my Kadabra, had an Alakazam, and then ran off. Never traded me back, and I was super grumpy about it because I really wanted an Alakazam and I never got one in Gen 1 because of those jerks. But Alakazam is a bad Pokemon. I almost cursed right there. I'm trying not to curse. He was a really bad Pokemon simply because he had super high speed, super high special attack. You can one-shot almost anything as long as it survived. If some reason the Pokemon that you were battling survived your initial attack, Alakazam might be in a little bit of trouble. Maybe not at first, but who knows. Alakazam does have a great move pool set up around it too, that it can almost counteract almost everything with its special attacks. It was awesome. He has 2 spoons now. I don't know where he gets his spoons from, but you know, good for him. I guess he needs those spoons. He has an awesome mustache, which is, you know, gives him even more credibility. Like, why would you want to mess with a dude with like a 2-foot-long mustache? It was awesome. And with that, that's pretty much it about Alakazam. He was absolutely top tier in Gen 1, and you can only get him if you had friends that were willing to trade you and trade you back. So, you know, or you can steal somebody else's Kadabra. I wouldn't judge. I would have done it too. After I got screwed over, I probably would have done it too. But besides that though, Alakazam, he's number 1 for all of those reasons and so much more, because he even still gets to be super overpowered in the later generations. He's one of the mainstays in my team most of the time. So yeah, Alakazam all the way. Number 1, better than Mewtwo in my opinion. Fight me, bro. And yeah, that's basically it, guys. That's my top 5 Psychic type Gen 1 Pokemon. If you agreed with my list, and especially if you agreed with my Alakazam choice being better than Mewtwo, please let me know. I hope you guys agreed with me there. And if you don't, if you think that Mewtwo or some other Psychic type should have gotten the number 1 spot, let me know. I will probably fight you about it because I am passionate about this right now. But, I hope you guys enjoyed my video though. If you did, please like this video, share it with your friends, and if you want more Pokemon vids like this, please subscribe and let me know. You guys can also message me and find me out on all my social media accounts right down there onto the side. Don't be afraid to ever chat with me. I'm always here, guys, especially to talk about Pokemon and other games and stuff. So with that, thank you so much again for watching these videos. Check out my other top 5s. More will be coming, so stay tuned for those. And with that, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you again. Carlos out.